You totally left. gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's going on? What's going on to all my embracers? How you doing, guys? It is Thursday night. First Thursday night show of 2023. Had to move the schedule from Monday nights to Thursday night because my work schedule changed. But have no fear, Embrace is here. That was corny, but I like it. So anyway, to all my regular embracers, thank you for coming. You guys know the drill. Press the like button. That's like taking off your jacket and your coat when you first walking in the house. They're free, guys. There's nothing to have to give, but just let people know on YouTube that you like this show and you like what you're hearing and what you're about to hear. Second, definitely subscribe because you are not going to be disappointed. Once you see this show tonight, you're going to want to get some more and watch more shows and catch up, especially the one with Kevin Samuels, Choose My Ass Out. That was really the motivation of what started this channel. So check that out. And second of all, share. You guys see me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, share. Let other people know. If you like me, most likely your friends will like you. If your friends like me, most likely your family members will like you. That's how we can get the word out and spread the message that me and my embracers are trying to get out here. But without further ado, well, I do want to say one more thing. For my new embracers, if you've never been here, I need you to understand that this channel advocates men, especially African-American men. And that's due to the biggest part is that I have an African-American son. So a lot of the issues and topics that we talk about are messy, are awkward and uncomfortable, but they're necessary. They're necessary because my son is going to be going through a lot of the BS that we'll be going to be sifting through. And without further ado, I have to come up here and introduce my co-host because the Thursday night show will not go forward without my co-host Gary D. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good. I'm glad that we're back, and clearly, we have a new day, a new day, and the same time, and we just keep it going.
Yep, same station, everything, just a new day. It felt weird though. Didn't it feel weird to you Monday night? I felt a little lost.
Well, I mean,
wanted to do something, but I got rest instead. You know, I just like, you know what, let me get the rest that I need because I got to get acclimated to this new schedule and it's just different. But anyway, Gary, I just want to thank you for always being here, for always supporting me, not just supporting me, but your consistent support. You're all over the place with me on Facebook, liking, sharing, and I really, really appreciate that. And let people know where we can find you and where we can see you and get to know you more and listen to your bomb ass conversations.
What's up, everyone? So I'm Gary D. I am president of Boardwalk Global Media. We're a multimedia entertainment podcast company. We have a couple of different podcasts that we do on a weekly basis. Our main podcast is called The Real Discussion with Rock Logic, co-hosted with Gary D and Robin. Currently, we're on hiatus, but we'll be back the middle of July or the end of July. So, but I'll keep y'all posted. Grace, she has showed up checking out our show regularly, so she sees what goes on. We have the very real conversations also. And like I said, we normally come on 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Fridays. And we're on YouTube, Facebook, and a few other platforms. And that's about it. I mean, and I'm here, or I've been here the last, I don't know, 3 months supporting my good friend Grace.
Absolutely.
Because I think that she has something very powerful here, and I think that it's important to have the real hard conversations that nobody wants to talk about, and and we need to have those, especially if we're going to have better relationships, right? Because relationships nowadays in 2023, it's a fucking mess. It's a disaster, right?
But you know what's funny that I realized, Gary? Every topic that we talk about every week kind of ties into the next topic and the next topic and the next topic. So, guys, it's like reading chapters out of a book. And I do want to say this disclaimer for both Gary and I. We are not licensed therapists. We are not psychiatrists. We are just experts in life. And we just know we've just been through a lot. We've seen our friends and family go through a lot, and we just talking our shit here, giving our opinions. But I also do my research. I spend hours watching videos, reading, writing good information to give you guys, to pass along to you, so you can hopefully marinate in what me and Gary talk about, and then take it with you and further learn and open your mind with it, because that's the main goal, is to learn, grow, and become better versions of ourselves. So like Gary said, we can have better relationships, because right now what's going on, and it's not just romantic relationships, Gary, I'm talking about family.
Yeah.
You got family talking to each other for years, holding grudges. You got baby daddies, baby mamas arguing. You got children against children. You got, I mean, it's just a mess. We're lost in this goddamn sauce, and me and Gary are just out here trying to throw some lifesavers out, and whoever wants them and whoever wants to utilize them. You can either accept it or reject it. And please do not get offended by anything that we talk about, because you can simply just, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, put that shit on and wear it. So with that being said, let's see. It's already started. Mr. James Shaw. Well, Amin I said, "Hey y'all." Hi,
that's Robin.
Amin Eyes?
Yeah, that's Robin. I think that's Robin.
Well, no. That's on my side.
That's on your side. Oh, okay.
And then we got James talking about emotional intelligence. Men, be more like women, because you're inherently evil. Oh, wow. Okay, so we starting off on a good note right there, Mr. Sharp. Okay. Then he comes back and says, good evening to the both of you. And then Amanda, I think this is on your side.
Yes, she's from Australia. Yes.
Okay. Amanda says hi. Hi, Amanda. How are you? Thank you for once again coming through. I really do appreciate that. So, with that being said, we're caught up now. I'm going to do a better job. As you guys have to understand, me and Gary, poor Gary is flying in this plane as I build it. So he's just got his seatbelt on real tight, and he's just riding. He's flying along with me. Excuse me, you guys. Biggie Smalls, be quiet. I'm in the middle of a live. Thank you, sir. Sorry, guys. That's my dog. He gets excited sometimes. So what are we talking about tonight, Gary? This is another biggie. This is a big one to bite, and a lot of people don't realize that how important this is, and what a big component this is in having successful relationships. And again, me and Gary are not always just talking about romantic relationships. We talking about relationships across the board, family, co-workers, friends. But yes, the main one is love relationships, because at the end of the day, we want to bring people together. We want to keep the family unit together. So with that being said, tonight we are talking about emotional intelligence. That's a biggie. That's a biggie, Gary.
Yep.
And then Amanda said, "We'll try to watch as much as I can. I'm currently in the air flying to NZ. What is that? New Zealand? Yeah.
Yeah,
New
yeah, yeah,
Zealand.
yeah, yeah.
Great topic. Love this. Amanda, I appreciate if you watched 3 minutes or if you watch the whole show. Support is support is support. Just press that like button.
No,
Okay.
she's
I appreciate it.
she's a dedicated viewer. She tunes into our show that we do on Fridays called The Real Discussion. Right? She's the mother to the artist that I manage. His name is Baba T.
You told me.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a safe flight, safe travels. So with that being said, I just want to start off by saying that emotional intelligence was coined early in the 1990s. The term emotional intelligence gained prominence through the groundbreaking work of psychologists Peter Salovey and John Mayer. However, and I recommend this book, guys, I'm even going to order it, by Daniel Goleman's influential book, Emotional, published in 1995. It's what really popularized the concept and brought it to mainstream to be discussed. So anybody out there, Mr. Daniel, I am out here advocating for your book because I did look into it. It's a good book. It's a good one to have in the library because we all could use emotional intelligence. Okay? So with that being said, Gary, give me your take on what you have to say about emotional intelligence.
Wow. Emotional intelligence. It's it's something that there's some people who have it naturally. There's other people who need to develop it. And there's other people that really, I guess, don't care. But for those people that is in tune with their emotional intelligence, it helps for better relationships, right? Because you have to be able to manage your emotions, whether it's in your professional life or your personal life. And a lot of people are not able to do that, right? So it's important to understand the components of emotional intelligence and what you need to work on, so you can have better relationships, right? Because I mean, look, you could be working for a boss, and they may not have the best emotional intelligence, so it makes things kind of challenging, right? You may be in a relationship and your partner may not have the best emotional intelligence, and it makes it very challenging. So it's important for both people to really be in tune with their emotional intelligence and, of course, each other, right?
Absolutely.
And that makes things work so much better. And I think that what we'll try to do tonight is to sort of enlighten people, give them some factual information that they could maybe look at themselves, see what they need to work on, right? So it could help them, whether it's going to be in their personal life or whether it's going to be in their professional life or whether it's going to be both, right? Exactly. Because it's very important. It's very, very important.
And I love the way you framed your thought, because that set me up to what I have to say next. And Amin, it's coming. The definition of emotional intelligence is how well individuals identify and manage their own emotions and react to the emotions of others. I'm going to stop right there because I want to put a point that Gary said. Okay, so you have that boss that totally lacks emotional intelligence. But at least if you arm yourself with emotional intelligence, you will know how to counteract that boss. So you're not stressed out. So you're not filled with anxiety. I mean, it's just like therapy. A lot of times we don't go to therapy for us. We go to therapy to learn how to deal with the person that we're with. And it's the same thing as emotion. Having emotional intelligence will make you smarter on how to deal with that boss that lacks emotional intelligence.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that's an important thing. That's why it's not only important to have to be intelligently and emotionally for yourself, but also how to deal with others. So again, emotional intelligence is how well individuals identify and manage their own emotions and react to the emotions of others. It's understanding how those emotions shape your thoughts and actions so you can have a greater control over your behavior and develop the skills to manage yourself more effectively. So you can deal with that boss more effectively. So you can minimize your anxiety. Becoming more emotionally conscious allows us to grow a deeper understanding of who we are, enabling us to communicate. There's the word, there it is, to communicate better with others and build stronger relationships. So with that being said, Gary, with your monologue that you put out there, you kind of define emotional intelligence without even trying to define emotional intelligence. We want to be emotionally intelligent to know how to deal with fuckery, to know how to deal with good things, to know how to deal with serious scenarios, with pressure. I mean, and guys, let me tell you something. It's not an easy process. It's a lifetime process. Because we change as people every day, every month, every year. So therefore, we have to tweak our emotional intelligence. We have to adapt to things. We have to learn different things. So don't think that just because you learn something, okay, you've learned everything you've had to learn. So then Amin Eyes came back. Wouldn't that be emotional awareness? Yeah. And you're hitting on everything we're about to talk about, Amin. Stay. Okay. And then James came back and said, here's how I exercise emotional intelligence. I'm stoic, logical, rational, and practical. But when life gets too tough, I go somewhere by myself. Okay, James, I can respect that because that is your way on how you handle your emotions. And I like the fact that you know how you're handling your emotions, because you can express that to the next person. So if you tell me that about yourself, I'll know not to take it personally when you're stoic or you don't show emotion, or when you're being logical and rational and practical. And if you go somewhere by yourself, people shouldn't take it personally, because this is how James Sharp deals with his emotions. You know, there's really, he brings up a good point, Gary. Yes, there's ways that me and Gary are going to show you how to improve your emotional intelligence and become better at it. But you really have to customize it to who you are, because we're all different. We all feel differently. We all go about things differently, but we just have to go about them intelligently.
Well, see,
that's key.
Well, you said something very interesting there, because so we're all very different. So, and in that being said, 2 weeks ago, we did a show on personality types, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess y'all gonna hear me sort of referencing that, because the personality types is very important, right? So when you have emotional intelligence and when you know who you are, then and you understand the type of person that your type of personality, then it's going to give you an insight to, you know, your emotional intelligence, right? For example, if you're a great communicator, because part of having good emotional intelligence is being a great communicator, right? And being a great communicator means, it's that can be in a leadership role. If you're a Sigma male or an alpha male, those are great communicators, right? Not saying that the Omega males aren't or the Zeta males aren't, but when it comes to leadership roles, right? So you have to be able to communicate well. But my point being is that you need to understand your different personality types, and then you'll see where you fit on the emotional intelligence scale. And it's not a bad thing.
They have a lot of tests, self-tests that you can take. Yeah. They have a lot of self-assessments, personality tests. So there's actually tools and resources out there that you can utilize to kind of bring yourself in. I realize, and I've learned to embrace this because I used to get made fun a lot. I've been called a crybaby. I'm a crier, believe it or not. But the thing is, it's okay to cry. I remember when Mary J. Blige said this in an interview. She says, when you cry and you have that good cry home by yourself, it's like a snake shedding its skin. Get that layer of emotion off. You get it out of your system, and I'm good to go. When you see me upset and very angry, I want to, but I've learned to control the tears in front of people. And it's funny that I mentioned this because I'm reading James' comments, and look what he says, Gary. And then I detox myself, perhaps even cry, to relieve myself of all negative and grief. Once I'm finished doing this, I publicly reemerge, sound logical and at peace. And James, first of all, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for allowing yourself to be vulnerable on my platform, because this is a safe place and there is no judgment. There's nothing wrong with shedding a tear. Okay? I'm considered a crybaby, and if that's what I am, then that's what I am. If that's how I know how to cope with my emotions, then so be it. And then James came back, Gary, and said, this prevents me from being a ticking time bomb. I learned this from women. I never lose my cool on crying in front of people, especially women. And you know what, James, if that's your way of dealing with your emotions, then that's okay. There's no right or wrong way. It's what works for Mr. James Sharp. Gary, go ahead. You got something to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. And James, he makes a point, which I was gonna say is that, most masculine men, if you will, have their crying moments, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning or wee hours in the morning when nobody's around, right? Now you'll never know, right? Because we all have something that we go through or something that's going to bring us to that point where you just have to let it out, right? Now, now there's other people that they don't care where it is. They're going to let it all out. They don't care, right? And that's fine. But for men that's more masculine, Alpha Sigma is going to be, when nobody's around, right? Because when you let it out, then it's like, okay, I'm good. Like with some of my friends, I would say, I'm like, look, cry until you get it out your system, right? Cry until it's like, yo, fuck it. Okay, I'm done. I'm tired crying, right? Then now you can move on.
I have kind of a gross analogy, but it's kind of a good one, but it's gross. When you're not feeling well and your stomach hurts,
yeah,
and your stomach, and you finally like throw everything up, and then you be like, okay, I feel better now. That's the same concept. And look what Almond Eyes says. She said, it is, y'all. Get it all off your chest, then take a good hot shower or sauna if you can. Man, Almond Eyes, I get in the hot shower. I turn some music on. First, I do my gospel, then I do my gangster shit. I go through all the emotions that I need to do. And then when I do that last cry, I'm done. And the goal is to not to go back to it. Okay? Once I shed that layer of skin for that particular situation, I'm done. And I really try to work hard on not going back to it. I mean, there's just some things like, okay, Father's Day is very tough for me. You know, I see everybody with their fathers. I see Father's Day. I was a daddy's girl. You know what I'm doing for Father's Day this year, guys? I'm flying to New York and I'm gonna go visit my dad at the cemetery. So whoever has their dad and able to be with them, hug them a little bit tighter, because you know what, guys, when they're gone, they're gone. And anyway, we're not gonna get into that. Yeah. So with that being said, I don't want to get emotional on the Emotional Intelligence Show. So with that being said, James said it's all good. Most women tend to cry. Yeah, you're right. But I take it to another level. That is my way. But I don't just cry in front of everybody. If I cry in front of you, I think you should take that as a privilege, because you have allowed me to feel safe and cry in front of you. I just don't cry in front of anybody. And I don't. Do I cry? Hell yeah. But I do it by myself, or I do it with somebody that matters. So with that being said, let's keep moving on. So Gary, people want to know, how do you build emotional intelligence? How do you think we should? There are ways on how we can build in emotional intelligence.
Well, let me first start by saying is that, it's about having emotional skills, right? And there's 3 points or components to emotional skills. You have emotional expressions, right? On how you communicate, how you talk to people, how you interact with people and stuff like that. You have emotional sensitivity. That's, how, that's dealing with empathy and things like that with other people and situations. And then you also have the third one, emotional control, how you react to situations and dynamics. So those 3 emotional skills people have to work on. Now, some people, they may be just naturally better at all 3 of those, or maybe 1 of those, or 2 of those, or all 3 than others. Some people have to work on it, but when it comes to emotional intelligence, those are sort of the 3 core skills that, we have to, that people have to work on, right? And like I said, I mean, look, you can, it's a learned experience, right? You can grow into being a highly emotional intelligent person. But it's, the time, the effort, the energy, the feedback, and again, being able to, in my opinion, is being able to communicate effectively, right?
Didn't we just talk about that last week?
Yeah, but
communication.
Right. But it's being able to communicate effectively, right? And one of the things that is also important is that in the communication is the use of words, right? To communicate to, if you're dealing in a relationship, whether it's personal, friends, or even business, if someone hurts you, you have to be able to communicate that, not just saying, oh, well, you made me feel bad, right? You have to know how to really communicate so the other person really gets it, like, so they know that, wow, that they hurt your feeling and how it made you feel, right? So it's embracing, it's developing and embracing an emotional vocabulary, right?
Absolutely.
For the choice of words, because words matter, right?
Yes, they do.
Words matter. I could say, well, damn, Grace, you hurt me. But then I could say, well, Grace, what you said really ripped my insides out, or really upset me, right? Or really made me cry. Now it's going to come across different to you. Now you're going to understand sort of the depth, right, of the emotion that I'm going through. So now you can respond according to that. So now you understand the seriousness. So in saying that, being able to develop and embrace an emotional vocabulary, so you know how to communicate with people on how they made you feel.
Absolutely. And it's just like anything else, Gary. We build our vocabulary when we learn a language to better communicate. The same thing with, like you're saying, emotional intelligence. You have to learn how to build your vocabulary with your emotions. Okay, and James said this is a great topic. Yes, it is, James, and this is what we try to do here every week. We we talk about the hot trending topics once in a while, but you know what? Me and Gary are on some different type shit. We talk about these topics because we want you guys to be better versions of yourselves once you leave watching our show, because it's important to us. I don't want to see a woman and a man out one night and they hitting each other and cursing each other out and disrespecting each other. What I want to see is two grown-ass people being emotionally intelligent and knowing better, because when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely.
And that's our point. And that's all me and Gary trying to do. We're trying to show you how y'all could do better. Because obviously what's going on right now in the world is not working, people. So I need y'all to embrace this and really try. I mean, like I said, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But certain things that we say, if it touches you, I keep this with me all the time. Grab a mirror and look within yourself. And guys, I'm not perfect. Gary's not perfect. This is a lifelong progress. I had to learn how to deal with my emotions. And one of my ways is crying, but that's the extreme. I've also learned when I feel myself getting amped up, I count to 10 and I take a deep breath. I've learned to pick and choose my battles. I grew up in a household where my dad used to say, Gary, every action has a reaction. Mm-hmm. I wish he was alive right now so I can tell him, no, Dad, that's not true. Sometimes no reaction is a reaction. You don't have to play Frogger to everything and leap to everything. Sometimes you just got to sit back and observe. I leave it. I save things later. I put it in my ammunition Rolodex. Okay, I got some ammunition for that. I got something for you later. I'm not saying that I let things build, but if we're having a nice night, we're out to dinner, and something happens that pisses me off, or I get in my feelings, I know how to, this word is hard for me to say sometimes, compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize, yeah.
There you go. You know what? We're gonna talk about this later. I'm gonna enjoy my night. We're gonna have a wonderful dinner. I didn't spend too much time looking good and looking sexy for me to go ahead and cry and fuck up my mascara and my eyelashes. We're gonna talk about that later, because again, when we talked about effective communication last week, there's a time and a place for everything.
Right. And see, in what you're saying there, there's 15 things about what people with emotional intelligence do, and what you said there, it deals with time, right? Meaning or timing, meaning that knowing when to, okay, you know what, I'm not going to say anything now, we'll discuss this later, right? Or just step back, step back, regroup or rethink,
Your words, wise
right. Choose your words on how you want to say, right? So, and that's part of being emotional intelligence, in being able to step back and take time to think about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it.
Absolutely. And all of this that we're talking about, my embracers, is emotional intelligence. So I got Diamond Rose on here. Thank you for coming. You're a new one. Is that on your side, Gary, or is that me, or is that us?
I don't. Okay, I guess that's us. Oh, that might be Diamond Rose.
Okay. Thank you for coming. Appreciate the blue heart. I love it. And she says, at James Sharp, men need to learn to give a little grace. Us women are emotional and we tend to cry more. It's because we are the weaker vessel spiritually and physically. I know that's right. I like you already.
But see, here's the and look, I don't disagree with what she said, but it's the type of, there's some men that understand that and there's some men that don't, right? Now, for the men who do understand that women are more emotional creatures, then there's a way that you have to deal with a woman that's like that. And I don't mean that as a bad thing, right? So, but I think that because of what some men and some women, what they grew up around, it sort of shaped them to be how they are. And I think that, when you have a close male friend, or you're in a relationship, they have to understand if you're very emotional, because some women are a lot more emotional than others. Some women, you just raise your voice a little bit and the tears start flying, or the tears start rolling, right?
But they need to exercise emotional intelligence, though, because I'm not saying there's anything wrong at crying at the drop of a dime, but come on now.
But
we gotta,
I'm just right. But I'm just saying it's knowing how to manage that, right? It's knowing how to and when you get into a relationship dynamic, it's really understanding those things about your partner or your potential partner, right?
Absolutely.
So you're able to manage that. And again, but that goes to what we've always talked about. People don't have the real conversations.
Here we go.
So when stuff like that happens, it goes completely left, and then you can't fix it.
Exactly. So, okay, so Gary, let's say you and me are dating, and you know this about me, that I'm a crybaby, because I've learned to embrace that name. I've been called that a couple times, and that kind of hurt my feelings. And I said, well, you know what? If that's who the fuck I am, then you know what? That's who I am. I'm going to embrace that. If I call you on my way home and I said, babe, I'm going to need a powwow tonight, what is that automatically letting you know? Like, if you're my other half and I'm saying I had a really bad day, Father's Day is coming up, I'm a ball of emotions right now, I just need a good powwow. You being my man, would you not already know?
Well, of course. Well, see, I would already be in tune with that already. I would already know what Father's Day means to you and how emotional it gets. So I would already know. So for me, we would have probably already discussed something, to do to sort of make the day a bit better, or just because it's going to be an emotional time for you. So I want to obviously emotionally support you, for that time.
And I bring that up, Gary, because a lot of men are very dismissive.
Yeah, I know.
You understand what I'm saying?
I know.
And that sucks. Yes, guys, I said my channel is about advocating for men, but at the end of the day, I'm still a woman. and I still got to represent my woman's side from time to time. But the fact still remains is that we need to be more empathetic to each other. And that is one of the things that we started talking about how to build emotional intelligence. So these are 8 things that we can start doing without even picking up a book or doing a self-assessment test. And let me read real quick because they're building up, Gary. James said, Diamond, I agree, but just don't be too emotional. Otherwise, yeah, I feel you. Okay, so we're putting on a gauge on the emotional thing, but that's okay. Again, it's all about timing. It's all about the timing. So then, hold on. Then Diamond came back and said, yes, James, I agree. That's coming from a healthy mindset. And then she said, let's be real then, LOL. And then she came back and said, some people don't understand until they take their self out of the situation. They may not get it right then and there, but trust me, they're gonna learn and keep making the same mistakes. Exactly, because they're not trying to figure out what's going on.
Some people don't,
with them.
What's that saying? What's that saying? Some people, they don't want to fix it because being broken gives them attention or something like that. Right? So so there's some people that they just don't want to fix if they're broken, if you will, and that, that's probably not a good term, but they, but if they're broken, then they could complain, and I guess that could give that they'll get more attention, or they like that attention, than rather taking the time and go through the pain and to heal, right? Because healing doesn't happen overnight. You're going to go through you're going to go through up and downs. You're going to go through challenges, but that's what it takes to heal. It's no different than, I don't know, if you broke your leg, you broke your arm, you got a bad cut, it takes time to heal, but it's going to be, it's going to be a challenge. But some people, they don't want to go through that, right? They rather stay broken because it gives them attention, and it does it, and they don't have to be responsible.
Absolutely. And look, Diamond came right behind you and said, yup. And most people just don't want to do the work it takes to work to become a better person and emotionally.
They don't want to.
You're absolutely right.
They don't want to.
I know that I'm more emotionally intelligent than I was 5 years ago. I went to counseling. I went to, I've learned how to meditate. I'm good at it because I just can't shut my mind down, but I'm getting there. And there's different things that I do, and I'm telling you guys, it's a day-to-day thing, because sometimes I'll never forget when my therapist said to me, okay, Grace, because one day I went in that office and I think she was going to call the cops on me. She got scared. And she let me let it all out. And then she said, okay, we're going to work on being more graceful versus so gangster. Those words have stuck in my soul forever, because when I feel myself getting amped up, I count to 10 and I take a deep breath and I said, remember who you are. Your name is Grace. You need to maintain grace. You need to be graceful. Is it worth? Because I'm also trying to normalize on calling out people on their fuckery and bad behavior. but again, you gotta pick and choose your battles. You gotta pick the timing. You gotta assess the situation. Like, it's very hard for me not to go in a service industry place, and if I see that shit is slow, customer service sucks, because I've been in customer service all my life, I want to jump in, but I can't. First of all, I'm not managing the place. And so you got to assess, well, why are they so busy? What is going on? And sometimes, yes, I have said things, Gary, that I see that could be an instant fix to be able to make the situation better. And sometimes I says, you know what? I'm on vacation. I'm chilling. I'm on a date. I'm not trying to correct nobody. We just have to We just have to know when to do it, how to do it, why we're doing it. And it took a lot of time for me. And like I said, I still work on it every day because I'm getting hit with shit every day. We get hit with things in life every day. Different people are pouring their. That's why it's so important, Gary. And I don't know if this is written in the books, but your emotional intelligence also can be contingent upon on who you allow your energy around, who you give your energy.
That's a conversation I have all the time. That's a conversation that I have, and that's actually a part of emotional intelligence. So, and I think I'm sure we all can agree on what I'm about to say. Have you ever been around someone and they talk, and after they finish talking and you leave them, you just feel drained?
Yes.
Right?
It's like it's
right.
like they took everything out of you, and you have to go home and you either have a headache because you're so drained, you gotta go take a shot, or you just
exactly.
And
then on the other end, if you've been around someone that you spoke to and you feel encouraged, you feel energized, you feel
you're ready,
you feel
you're
positive.
motivated.
Right, you feel motivated, right? And that speaks to the type of people that you have around you. You want to have people that are positive, that are uplifting, people that's going to give you good energy, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what it's about,
My dad used to say to me, Gary, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are.
Exactly. If you're going to be around people, that's always going to be, and if you're going to be around people that has negative energy, bad energy, then there's a reason why messed up shit is going to be happening, right? But if you're around people that have good energy, good vibes, good auras, and like if you and like I was just saying, if you've spoken to somebody and after you spoke to them, you feel better. Even in a phone conversation, you have a phone conversation with somebody and you get off the phone, it's like, wow, like, okay, I could take over the world now, or I feel so much better, right? So that's very important, right? That's very important to connect with people like that, right?
Absolutely.
Because we need stuff like that, but I think people really don't. I think that there's some people that don't understand.
Pay attention. It's not that they don't understand, Gary. They don't pay attention. If you're around a person and you feel drained, all of a sudden you get a headache. All of a sudden you feel funny. That's energy. You have to pay attention to that. Just like when you feel you're around somebody and you get excited and you get motivated, you have to pay attention to those things because that matters. You're not going to learn how to be a millionaire hanging out with broke folks. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to learn how to cook hanging around with people that always buying fast food fast food. If you want to learn something, you gotta learn from the people that are already doing it. It's just like this YouTube thing, Gary. I was called a user by somebody, and that kind of hurt my feelings because I've never been a user. I may utilize. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here on these YouTube streets trying to collab with other YouTubers that I feel that are on my same page. They are trying to do the same things that I'm trying to do. And it's not always people that have 100,000 subscribers. It could be somebody that merely has 300 subscribers. But if they're on that same path that I'm trying to do, I'm collabing with you. I want to talk to you. I want to learn from you. I want you to come on my show because you know what? I'm learning every day. But I was called a user for that. I call it networking. You're networking. You're utilizing. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. I have been, and shout out to the Lapeef Network. I kept hounding them. And finally I got the opportunity to get on a couple panels with them. and I was able to say things that I've been wanting to get out there, not just on my show, but on other people's panels, on other people's show. And that's going to help me spread my message. But people will look at it as I'm using them. I mean, don't we use each other all the time? I
think that, well, see, that I think that is, in my opinion, I think when they say the word use, I think that's a loaded word. And I think that, you know, they try to make it something negative. And I think, like, when you use, like, when you know, clearly, when you hear the term being used, obviously it's something negative, right? And I think no good person, no genuinely good person wants to be told that they're using someone. And I think that sometimes the people that say it, they may have their own issue or their own insecurities, right? Because I mean, I've had that happen. I've had similar things happen like that to me also, where I've helped out a lot of people, right? But you want to turn around and say that I'm using you? You understand? But I think that it speaks to their character and how they are, right? Because if you know that you're genuine and the people around you know that you're genuine in what you do, then I think that's what matters. But some of these people, you know, when they say stuff like that and wants to blame, you know, wants to call you a user, I think that speaks to their character, right? And I think that's.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Gary. At first, I got in my feelings about it, but again, this is where my emotional intelligence kicked in. I sat back and I assessed the conversation. I assessed the source that it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? I assessed the validity of the comment that person said. And then, you know, I said, no, I don't agree with that person. It doesn't apply. So I let it fly because I know who I am. I know I'm not a user. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. It keeps me grounded because we as humans, we do need to hear some negative things sometimes. We do need to hear criticism sometimes, but it's how we handle. It's how we handle that critique that determines who we are as a person.
You know, constructive criticism is always good, right? It's always good. However, you're going to get, especially in this entertainment world, you're going to get people that are going to, you know, some may give you valid constructive criticism. Others will criticize just to hate, right? You know, just to hate because they see you doing, right? They see you making moves. So they may say stuff to, you know, to hate, right? And I think that is one of the differences there, and to differentiate that, because, you know, people, you know, you're going to get people that are going to be jealous of what you're doing because you have a plan, you've put it together, it's growing, right? Some people you may have knocked on their doors and they didn't want to open the door. Now they see, you know, now they see that you're doing, right? So, you know, and I think that, you know, that is very important for people to see that you're doing, right? You know, if there was, you know, also too, opportunities that present themselves. If you feel that certain opportunities are not good, but the other person felt like, well, oh, she didn't want to do this, but you're going to do what works for you. But because you didn't go with somebody, right? But because somebody else didn't want, because you didn't follow what somebody else wanted, then they want to be mad, right? This is, you know, like, for example, the podcast, this is your vision.
They could put a cape on it and they could get super mad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what he like, and that's what you got to do. Just, you know, you kind of just take it with a grain of salt and keep moving. And it's important. And I say all of this to say is for the people that you have around you that's positive, that's uplifting, that gives you the energy, then that helps you deal with all that shit a lot better. Because I tell you, me being in the entertainment industry, 30 years, about 30 years, I've seen it all, right? So I spot shit a mile away, right? Because I know, I understand the attitudes, the underlying agendas, the phoniness. Like, I see all of that shit, right? But I don't play into that, but I see it for what it really is, right?
I hear you. Hold on, Gary. The comments are piling up. So Braxton the Snake, thank you for coming. You have been a loyal embracer, and I really do appreciate it. So she said, Ilana said, life left me broke and feeling broken, but she did the work, as she said. You got to put the work in. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And you're absolutely right. And then Diamond said, it's a process. People need to trust their own process and stop being so hard on themselves. Diamond, I have to admit to you, baby girl, I have to work on that, because I guess I set such high expectations of myself and goals. And when I don't meet them, or when I feel that I'm not where I'm supposed to be, I rip myself up. Trust me, I don't need nobody else to come tell me what I am or what I am, because I do that enough on my own. Sometimes I gotta people gotta talk me out of it, like you're saying right now. Oh, it's not that bad. You know, you're gonna be okay. So let's keep going. And then over here, yep, at Braxton the Snake Fiend, she was agreeing. Let's keep going. It's a moment by moment, day by day. I've learned, but definitely not perfect. Absolutely. Every day is an opportunity for us to grow and learn. It's when we stop growing and learning is when we become stagnant. Great director Rob Zombie basically said at times that it's good to have a harsh or tie best of life as a start cause as you get older. It's just a breeze for you already built for whatever comes. And you're right. You're right. You know, I never expected at my age I've had to start from scratch, start over. But you know what? That's going to be my... What did my pastor say to me? He was like, Gracie, you have to go through a test to speak of your testimony. And I'm like, he's like, don't you notice that the word test isn't testimony? And I'm like, yeah, you know, you're right. You're absolutely right. You know, it just takes words. And Diamond said facts. She's agreeing. Hold on, they're refreshing. And then Braxton came back and said, Diamond, you're right. Bingo. Let's see. Energy. That's when I started talking about energy. She said yes. People will try to suck very virtual out of you intentionally and unintentionally. And you're right, Diamond. And that's where emotional intelligence comes in. I learned to stop taking things so personally. You know how? I look at where the information is coming from, the source. Is this a person that matters to me? Is this a person that holds validity in my life? Do they matter? Or are they just some small off the street talking shit to me? I mean, even my son said it. He was like, Mom, are you sure you're ready to do a YouTube channel? You know, you have to have a tough skin, a thick skin, because they're going to come at you. And trust me, they have come at me. But you know what? Every day I learn ways to cope with things. I have to move carefully because we live in a cancel society. You say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, the first thing they want to do is, I'm gonna blast your ass on social media. I'm gonna take your channel down and woo, 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 woo. Okay, I know I'm vulnerable to that. I know things like that can happen, and that's why I've upped my emotional intelligence. See, when people started coming at me like that, that let me know, yo, I got to tighten up. I got to learn how to do things better. I know what topics my platform is ready to handle and which ones are not. Because trust me and Gary, we talk almost every day, and we have hundreds of topics that we're ready to dish out, but some may not be ready for it. Some are, and it so happens that every topic Gary and I talk about just intertwines with the next topic and the next topic, and then it's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. So it makes more sense. So then Diamond said 100, and then Braxton came back and said, for the ones who never dealt with anyone with anything, they'll turn to alcohol, cigarettes, or street drugs. They ain't built for hardship. I can agree with you on that, but again, we have, in order to do better, we got to know better. So if we can't say that they've never dealt with anything before, they've never been taught how to deal with things. So the only thing that they know is to go grab a drink, go grab a cigarette, go do drugs. And you're right, Braxton, but at the same time, we have to ask ourselves, well, why? One of my friends asked me, why don't you ask your best friend why he drinks so much?
Well,
because he called me the other day. He's like, oh, I think I have cirrhosis of the liver and things like that. And you know what? I never even thought about it, to just sit down and it's like, yo, bro, why do you drink so much? What's going on? I know sometimes when I be doing shit, it's because it's circumstantial. I'm going through something. I went to my doctor one time when I was going through something seriously. The first thing he wanted to do was prescribe Paxil. So you wanna subscribe an antidepressant to me when I'm telling you what's going on? It's circumstantial. And you know what, guys? I filled that prescription up. I sure did. And I left it right there on my nightstand so I can see it every day to strengthen myself, because I refuse to take an antidepressant, because once you start taking drugs, I feel that it alters who you are as a person. I'm not going to be Grace anymore. I'm going to be a zombie. And then I read the motherfucking side effects. Lowers your level.
The side effects is worse.
yeah. And so you're trying to get rid of one problem, but I'm going to end up getting 5 more. Your libido is going to go down. Your weight gain is possible. Stomach upset. Nausea. No, I'd rather stay with my ass upset, crying, and whatever. But I spent the $30. I filled that prescription and I let it stand there on my night. And that's how I fought through what I was going through, by proving to myself, you don't need that Paxil. You're a child of God. You're strong enough. You're mental. And I never took it. And I was so and I told my doctor when I went back, because I was very disappointed in you, that the first thing you did was prescribe an antidepressant. I'm like, really? You didn't even really try to find out what was going on. You just with the, but in a way I thanked him, because that made me stronger. Now, pain pills, sometimes I have a high tolerance for pain, but I'm also not stupid either. When I went through my kidney stones thing, when I got that morphine at the hospital, I was a happy camper. Yeah, because them kidney stones don't play. So let's keep going with the comments, because they're building.
Go ahead.
Diamond said, LOL, right? It's almost impossible. And then Diamond said, it's gonna take time. God got you. Never listen to the naysayers. I know that's right, baby girl. From your mouth to God's ears. And Diamond said, that's great. And then Braxton came back and said, like, for example, black guys, Jonathan and Willate deals in drugs to help his financial situation, and white guys, Everett and Scotty, will deal in drugs to deal with their emotional problems. Yep. But at the end of the day, are their problems being resolved? Is that the right path to take? But you're right. And then life is a give and take, supposed to be respectfully. Absolutely. And then she said, yes, you have to exercise it every day. You might fall, but you get back up. Yep. I remember somebody telling me, Grace, it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up. It's that one time that you don't get up is when you may have missed your opportunity. So my ass is getting up every day. I may be crying. I may be a crybaby, but I'm going to get up. I'm getting up. Just take note that when you start at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up, Diamond. So I got you. There's always a yes somewhere. Believe that.
There's this one of the stories about Walt Disney, who built Disney World. You know, one of his the beginning with him is that he went broke 15 times.
Starbucks tried 77 banks to get a loan.
But I'm just saying, so you understand. So it's not going to happen immediately. So you're gonna stumble a few times, or quite a few times. But the thing is, you keep on going, right? Because there's going to be that one person or that one entity that's going to be like, okay, let's go make this happen.
It's going to take that one person to believe in you.
That's all.
One person to give you that bank loan. One person to give you that conversation and that motivation to do what you have to do. I'm not going to even lie to y'all guys. If you haven't seen the video yet, I have been thinking prior to that day to do a YouTube channel for almost 2 years. And I was already working on it. I was on another app practicing how to go live, how to talk to an audience. But when I had that conversation with Kevin Samuels, and he chewed my ass out, God bless Kevin Samuels, excuse me, and he told me nobody was going to respect me, nobody was going to listen. He was very respectful of what he was saying, but that gave me the motivation that I needed. That like, this is a man that I admire and respect, and he telling me this? Oh, hell no. I started 2 months afterwards, and then he died on me. Excuse me, guys. And you know what I looked at as? That was God pushing me. And he knew how much I admired Kevin Samuels. He knew how much I loved him. He knew how much time I spent with Kevin Samuels watching his videos. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to take the one thing that she loves the most and put it in front of her face. And now we're coming up to my 1 year anniversary. I did have to take a 5-month hiatus, so let's say 7 months, but we're going to still do 1 year anniversary, and I'm still here. And I'm trucking along, and I've met some great people along the way, and I know I'm going to meet greater people along the way, and I know I'm going to get haters, and I know I'm going to get
the haters come with the territory.
I've been called all types of names, Diamond and Snake. I've been called a pick-me, a ninja lover, a Karen. I mean, I've been called all of that, but that's okay. That means I must be doing something right.
Of course, that's what it is. Like, when they talk bad about you, that means you're doing something right.
Right? Absolutely. And then, hold on. Then Diamond said, trust, I understand. Let me just get caught up. She said, yes. That's the beauty of it. Without the test, you have no testimony. Exactly. And then she said 100. Then she started laughing. I know you over there giggling and shit. I'm telling you, there's some good shit, Diamond. You're going to get hooked. It's sharks out there, LOL. And I know you are one too. So believe in yourself like a shark, because you've never seen one swim backwards. I know that's right. I like that. Because he didn't renew his mind, he gave up everything to subside the feeling of failure. I'm not sure. We didn't talk so much already. Yep. But I will advocate for marijuana, and I don't consider that a drug. Anything that you have to mix up chemically in the lab, yes. And I agree with you with that. So I got you on that one. She said balance. And then she said, I know that's right. There's a lot, Gary. I gotta get to them. Then she said, I'd embrace the grace. Sure thing, miss. You're welcome. I'm nothing much at all. I just do what I can, and I have learned from your channel, ma'am. And I appreciate that. I really do, because if I could change one mindset, LOL, you was talking to GF Kevin Samuels? Yeah, That's the first. If you go on my channel, Diamond, and you see the first show that I've ever did, it's gonna say "Embrace the Grace" talks with Kevin Samuels. God bless the dead, and you'll see I did a reaction video to the video, and you'll see. She's like, dang. And he was like, she's like, pushing you. Yeah, he pushed me right over the edge to start this channel. I like to have a drink just like the next person, but I love having a functional liver and kidneys I can control. That makes sense. And then he said, I barely drink at all, really. And then I was supposed to start my journey over 4 years ago. Life happened. My only beloved child, Princess Brianna Strong. Now I'm getting a little bit stronger grieving. I'm so sorry for your loss. I can't even imagine that, my dear. That Brianna Strong, that should be your motivation. And Walt Disney himself was a racist, by the way. Some of his cartoons here on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And Diamond said, "Puff puff pass." I'm just gonna smile like that one. And then LOL. Okay, I'm gonna look for it. And then okay, we're all caught up. Detox for real. And then Diamond said, absolutely. So let me just jump into this real quick, guys, because anybody that knows me and Gary, we try to keep a tight schedule. We'll go for 2 hours, maximum 2.5 hours, because I do understand that people's attention span don't operate like that. When I see YouTube content creators staying on a live for 4, 5, 6 hours, I'm like, that defeats the whole purpose. If it's that serious, we'll come back and talk about it again. But it says here, how to build emotional intelligence. And a lot of it, we've already talked about it between all 4 of us. Tactics observing how you feel. You need to recognize the feeling and actually express the feeling. If Gary says something to piss me off, I need to step back and be like, yo, this motherfucker just pissed me off. I'm angry right now. Pay attention to how you behave when you realize and recognize what you're feeling. Question your own opinions. Take responsibility for your feelings. And Diamond said this too. Take time to celebrate the positive, but don't ignore the negative. I do this one a lot. Don't forget to breathe. And it's a lifetime process. So you see, everything that I have on this list, we kind of already talked about it in conversation. So a lot of it, well, I can't say common sense because common sense ain't so common. But a lot of it, we've already discussed. And you can start by becoming emotionally intelligent by simply starting to identify the emotions you're feeling at that precise moment, as well as understanding them. If you are able to name the emotion you are feeling, you have a better chance of understanding what you are feeling and why you are feeling it. And one can also learn better to regulate their emotions just by stopping and thinking before you act or judge. These skills will help you marshal inner resolve and stick to what really matters in life. Sometimes we get mad at the stupidest shit. Let it go. You got to learn to let it go. It's not worth it. Life is too short. So they fucking forgot to put ketchup in the bag. Did you ask for ketchup? You know, because a lot of these fast food restaurants, they just ain't giving away condiments like that. Shit is too expensive. If you went to McDonald's one day and they didn't give you ketchup in the bag, ask yourself, did I ask for ketchup? Then you go a second time, you still didn't get, did you ask for ketchup? Well, maybe you need to learn how to ask for motherfucking ketchup and you'll get ketchup in your bag. You see what I'm saying? You cannot expect always people to change for you. You have to change and tweak. And it's like I use a lot of basketball analogy, guys, because I've coached basketball for 19 years. But when I'm getting my ass whooped, when I'm getting pressured, you know, I call a timeout. And I regroup my team. And I put out another play. And we make adjustments. It's the same thing with emotions. Call it Time out. Why am I pissed off? You're on your way home anyway. You'll have fucking ketchup at the house. Is it really worth it to get upset because you didn't get ketchup? Are you gonna put ketchup on your fries while you're driving? Is it that serious? And if it is that serious, turn your fucking car around and go back to the McDonald's and gracefully ask, may I have some ketchup? Is there a reason why I don't get ketchup in the bag? Am I supposed to ask for it? The girl's gonna tell you, yeah, we don't give condiments out like that anymore. You have to ask for it. You see how easy that was? Have you seen the fuckery that people do and throw food at people at McDonald's, jump over the counter? I mean, to me, that is just like so ignorant. They don't know no better. They don't. They must be going through something else so dramatic and traumatic that they're taking it out on them.
I think most of the times that's what it is, right? It's something else. And then this situation happens and they take whatever the something else, they take out the anger and frustration on whatever the new situation is.
It's called misled anger.
Yeah, exactly.
Misled anger management. So here I got characteristics of being emotionally intelligent. And again, we've already really gone over all this in conversation, but of course, if anybody knows me, I do my research. I give you statistics and I give you facts. Number one, self-awareness. Being self-aware is recognizing and understanding your emotions, what you're feeling and why you're feeling the way you do. What triggered you? What upset you? Is it really Gary that I'm pissed off? Or is it a past trauma that I went through and Gary just triggered it? I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I used to get upset at my ex because of the behavior of his ex-wife. Where did he do that at? How am I gonna get pissed off at for how she was acting? Our counselor, because we was going to therapy, she looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, so you're getting mad at him because of the behavior that she's doing. Yeah, you're connecting the behavior to him because they were once connected, but that has nothing to do with him. And I had to learn that, guys. Somebody had to bring it to my attention. And I'm looking at him and I humbled myself and I apologized because there were so many, and that was, at the end of the day, that was her purpose, to get us to start arguing, to get us to start fighting and going against each other. You know what I'm saying? So people, when y'all out here with these baby mamas and these baby daddy dramas and you trying to have a new relationship, you got to tune that shit out. You got to check it. You know, your baby daddy or your baby mama got to check that shit. But at the same time, you can't get upset at that person. As well as, and then as well, it'll make you appreciate how these affect you and other people around you. The second characteristic of having emotional intelligence is self-regulation. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. You really got to count to 10 and really be like, is this really worth it? You got to regulate your emotions. Guys, it's an internal conversation that you have with yourself, your soul, your mind. You really got to check. I mean, there are times where people really piss me the fuck off. And I'm going to curse their asses out. But at the same time, you can't get mad at something because of the way you're feeling. They made you feel that way, but it's really not their, that's something I have to deal with. And again, to everybody that's out here listening or going to watch this show on the replay, this is something that happens within your inner core, within your inner brain. I can give you all the facts. I can give you tools and resources, but at the end of the day, you have to do the work. Number 3, it's motivation. Again, we talked about motivation. There's been times where I've been on the phone with Gary and we talk for hours, and after I get off the phone with him, I feel so alive, so motivated. And then he's bombarding me with, okay, I got this topic here. I need you to read this. And he's making sure I'm staying, he's making sure I'm on my P's and Q's. Hey, did you clean your computer out tonight? We don't want no technical difficulties. He stays on my shit because I've expressed to him how important this thing that I'm trying to do on YouTube. And he's coming along for the ride with me, and he's doing everything he can to help me. And that the least that I can do to show him respect and appreciation is oblige. And he'll get on my, hey, there's a voice message you ain't heard. I sent it on Tuesday. He'll send him one voice message to let me know about a voice message that I missed. I'm like, oh shit. I'll go back, I'll listen to it, and I'll go back and respond. Because, you know, if somebody like Gary, who has taken interest, who wants to see me grow, who has helped me, why wouldn't I reciprocate that? Why wouldn't I go on his show on Friday nights and talk my shit with his peoples? I'm going to New York in a week and a half, and we're having my 1-year anniversary show in his studio, meeting his peoples. I mean, come on, people. You just have to know to regulate yourself. You may be mad at the moment, but it may not be the time to deal with that emotion right then and there. You're going to have to go home, cry it out, duke it out, whatever you got to do. The fourth thing is empathy. We have to have empathy to have emotional intelligence. We have to be able to feel what other people are feeling, to understand our own emotions and to understand their emotions. And this is a big one. And me and Gary always talk about it. You got to have social skills. You got to be able to effectively communicate and express what you're feeling. And I've talked about this before. Me and my dad used to bump heads a lot because we were so much alike. So he ended up coming up with a way on how we communicate without going off on each other. We would write letters to each other. When he was pissed off at me, he would write a letter and he would leave it on the kitchen table in the morning, and I would read it and I would respond and leave it right back. It worked for us because we weren't yelling. He wasn't going off on me. I wasn't going off on him back. I respected him, but he taught me to always speak my mind, and I would speak my mind all right with him, and he ain't like that shit, but he taught me how to be that way. It is what it is. So with that being said, guys, these are things that we can do because emotionally intelligent is typically broken down into these you have to have competency. The self-awareness is the core of everything. It describes your ability to not only understand your strengths and weaknesses, but to recognize your emotion. If Gary's upset, he needs to recognize that he's upset. He needs to recognize why he's upset. He needs to recognize what triggered him to be upset. And he needs to try to understand why he's upset so he can not get upset again over the same thing. And that's where self-regulation comes in. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Once you have achieved the first component, which is self-awareness, then you can move on to checking yourself, because it's about expressing your emotions appropriately. You ease tension, manage conflict, and cope with difficult scenarios to adapt to changes in your environment. You got to be able to adapt to changes. You cannot expect that everything is always going to be the same all the time. The one thing that's guaranteed, the two things I guaranteed in life, three things: death, change, and taxes. Mm-hmm. Those are the three things we can guarantee in life. Nothing stays the same. We are not the same person we were 3 months ago. We're not in the same situation. Let's say we had a problem 3 months ago. A lot of us are not in that same situation. So, and then the motivation is a big part. If you are motivated, you have the thirst for personal development. You're highly driven to succeed. Whatever version of success looks like, you're inspired to accomplish your goals because you grow as a person rather than doing it for the outside reward like money, fame, status, and recognition. And this one was kind of important to me because people ask me all the time, well, why are you doing this channel? Are you trying to get rich? Are you trying to be famous? I said, No, I mean, those things come with it and it would be nice. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to change people's mindset. I'm trying to help people grow, heal, to become better versions of themselves. Gary sees my vision. There's a lot of times where I do ask other content creators to come on my show to give me to validate what I'm trying to say. Y'all don't want to hear it from me because I'm not black enough. You don't think I should be talking about black issues? Okay, so I'm gonna bring you the black man. I'm gonna bring you the alpha male and do an interview with the alpha male and see what it looked like. I'm gonna bring the resources to you. I'm just the middle. Don't shoot the messenger. Absorb the message. Again, if it doesn't fly, it doesn't apply. I know I mentioned this before, guys, but empathy is important. If you have empathy for people, you're on a healthy level and you're self-interested because you're not self-centered. In conversations, you can understand where somebody's coming from. You can take the time to walk in their shoes, so to speak. Draw your own life experiences and imagine how it feels and be compassionate what somebody's going through. I mean, we're so quick to judge and talk shit about people when you don't even know what they're going through. Do you guys know how much of just somebody saying, have a nice day, or somebody, are you okay? Is there anything I can get you? Is there anything I can do? It goes such a long way because you just don't know what people are going through. You really don't. We have to be slow to judge others and possess the awareness that we call just doing the best we can with circumstances that we're given. When we know better, we do better. Like today, I was at work and this young man, he didn't have a clue on how to fill out a money order. And then I already know that if you mess up a money order, we're not taking them back. So I said, do you want me to show you how to do it? He was like, you don't mind? I said, no, not at all. And I showed him. And this is how you fill it out. This is what you do. Da 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 da. He was like, okay, thank you. And then his homeboy was like, yo. And then he was like, well, can I fill it out here? So he filled it out right then and there. And then his homeboy was like, yo, let her check it and make sure you did it right. And I checked it and said, you did it right. And never was taught how to fill out a money order. Gary, another one that we always talk about, social skills. In order to be emotionally intelligent, you got to have social skills. If you've developed your social skills, then you adept and work, and you know how to work with as a team. You're aware of others and their needs in a conversation or conflict resolution. You're welcoming in a conversation, effective communication, active listening, eye contact, verbal communication skills, and open body language. Sound familiar, sir?
Yeah.
You know how to develop rapport with others and express leadership if the occasion calls for it. When I read that, I said, shit, I must be doing something right because I connect with people. There's certain people that I get their energy and I just be quiet. I don't say nothing. I take care of them. Thank you. Have a nice day. There's other energies that I feel that I feel I have to say something. You know, and sometimes it even scares me. Like lady will give me $100 bill. And even before she tells me, well, I need 2 20s, a 10, I'm already doing it because I kind of freaked the customer out and I gave her exactly what she wanted. She was like, how did you know this is how I wanted my money? And I said, I don't know. I heard you. She was like, what do you mean you heard me? I said, I can't explain it to you, but I heard you. Mm-hmm. You need this money because you're at the car wash. You need to tip the drivers. You need to pay for that. And you're going to go get lunch. She was like, how the hell you know all that? I said, I don't know how I know all that. I'm just telling you that I heard you. And she was shocked. And it shocked me too sometimes, but it is what it is. I don't question it. I just keep it moving. So, Gary, on everything that I've talked to so far, I know I've said a bunch. I need some water. What do you have to say about it?
Well, I mean, you hit a lot of things on the head right there. I think that I guess there's a couple of points I want to make. So one is when you're dealing with toxic people, right? So you got to know how to sort of deal with toxic people.
Good point.
From a distance, right? You can't let them You can't let their energy bring you down, right? You have to say what it is you need to say, and just keep it moving. Because toxic people, what's the old saying? Misery loves company, right? So if you have to deal with someone toxic, say what you need to have to say. If they want to make more drama out of it, then you need to nip it in the bud and keep it on moving. The other thing I want to say is, and I guess you mentioned this a little bit earlier, was when it comes to talking to somebody or whatever they're going through, you got to ask the why question, like what's going on, what's happening, right? So what's behind the anger, what's behind the frustration, what's behind the triggering, what's behind the trauma, because there's something there, right? So they're not just gonna act up because they're gonna act up, or be mad because they're gonna be mad, or fly off the handle so there's something there. So I think that if the conversation is done in a manner where you can ask the question like, hey, why are you upset like this? What's going on? What's happening? Because I think that when you're able to ask why, then you're able to create connections with people, because this shows that you care. Because when you ask why and they answer you, then it opens up dialogue to, okay, well, let's try to figure this out, right? Sometimes you may hear, well, nobody never asked me why, or but I think that when you ask why, it definitely opens it up. It opens it up because now the person gets to talk, because maybe whoever they're dealing with, they're not able to talk,
or they haven't put a safe place.
Or they're not right, exactly. And a lot of people
feel comfortable to talk.
Right, and exactly, and you said the key word there. You'll be surprised how many people don't have a safe place, right? Be it a man or a woman, or male, female. You'd be surprised how many people don't have a safe place. And I think that's very important. So when you become a safe place for a person where they can be vulnerable without judgment, that's very big. That's major. And I think some people don't understand how powerful that can be, how helpful, how healing that can be, right? And I think that's something that people need to look at. But that's definitely a major part in developing your emotional intelligence.
Absolutely. Let's get back to the comments, Gary. Diamond said, yes, you have to watch how you react and respond to it, because 9 times out of 10, the conversation goes left and has nothing to do with the problem at hand. Exactly. Why are you bringing up old shit? What does Snoop Doggy Dogg say? Stick to the lecture at hand.
Stick to the lecture at hand, yeah.
But what I try to make men understand is that a lot of us women bring up old shit because in our heads, it hasn't been resolved. There has been no resolution. You might think that there has been a resolution, but in our mind, it hasn't been a resolution, or it can just simply be a tactic called deflection. They're trying to deflect. And I hate that shit, because if we're talking about you pissed me off because you left the kitchen, you left dishes in the sink, don't bring up the shit that I left socks on the floor last week. You should have addressed it then. One thing has nothing to do with the other. And then the sign language begins, the shame, the insult, the guilt, and the need to be right. When people go to therapy, therapist gives you ways and tools to cope with arguments, to learn how to deal with the other person that you're with, because maybe my way of communication is not Gary's way of communication. We have to learn, just like we have to learn each other's love language, we have to learn each other's emotional intelligence and how we can effectively communicate with each other. I let people know I don't do yelling. Don't fucking yell at me. Unless it's warranted. If I really fucked up and you feel like you have to yell at me, I'll take it. But if it's something minor and minute, because I left a sock on the floor, nah, bro. No, I can't see it. But if I went out with the girls and whatever and I crashed the car when I could have simply just called Gary or got an Uber, yeah, I know he's gonna be pissed. Because now that's gonna cost the family a car, insurance, money. I'll take it. I'll shut down, but I'll take it. But the fact still remains that it is what it is. If that's Gary's one way of communicating with me when he's really angry, and he's very angry because I did something at a level 10, then something. And I know your grandma always says this, Gary, but this is one of my deal breakers. If I'm ever dating with somebody and you have this shit, I'm not gonna mess with you. I hate when when you're wrong and strong with it.
Oh my God! Oh yeah.
You want to be wrong. You want to be wrong and strong. I'm not even looking for an apology anymore because people don't even. That's another topic I forgot we're gonna talk about. The art of apologizing, because people just don't know how to apologize. You fucked up. You know you didn't fuck up.
But see, you said a couple of things there. So I think so. Clearly, when it comes to the communication and being in a relationship, that I think that's first and foremost. You want to make sure that the communication is down, so there's no misunderstanding. There's no tit for tat, right? I think that a lot of people, a lot of couples, they don't have the real communication. So since they don't have the real communications, then they go through the bullshit arguments of you left this or you left that, or you bringing up stuff from 5 months later or 3 months later and stuff like that. Like, come on, that if there's a problem,
we both know women are most guilty of that bullshit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if there's a problem, but see, and this is where, me being a communicator, if there's a problem that I did and you feel I did something wrong, then you tell me, you let me know. Let's discuss it. You can't bring it up to me 3 months later and say, well, you did this. Then I'm like,
no, it's over. It's too late.
Then that to me is not going to work. So when I say communicating, is that when you're getting into a relationship, establishing like, look, if there's a problem or issue, you need to tell me, you need to let me know. If you feel like, look, I don't want to talk right now, let's talk tomorrow. All right, fine. But don't hold it in until months later. And then it's like the problem or whatever the issue is supposed to be resolved. So if I don't know what it is or how you're feeling, then how could it be resolved? But then you want to wait 2 months later, 3 months later to bring it up. To me, that doesn't work. That's like ground for, okay, we're done, because I'm not going to tolerate that, because I wouldn't do that to you. The other thing with the wrong and strong, I fucking hate that, right? There's people, and that was something that, my grandmother and my grandfather used to say, right? But it's like, how you going to be wrong about something and then have an attitude on top of that? Like, what?
It's like me coming home and fighting with you because I totaled the car.
Yeah,
really? Really? How about just apologizing and taking care of the situation tomorrow? You're gonna call the insurance company. You're gonna deal with everything. I mean, and it's such a turnoff when it comes. It's just people across the board. Some people don't even know how to apologize, and then if they do, they give you the bullshit apology, right? Where it's like, oh, like. It's half-assed, right? Oh, I'm sorry, it's not genuine. It's not sincere.
Exactly. Like it's like there was 3 years ago, somebody did apology, and they were giving me somewhat of an apology, and it was like, I'm sorry, but not for what I said. I'm like, fuck you.
Then you're not sorry.
Right. Like, if it's not genuine, then don't tell me. Like, don't say it to think you're going to pacify me. No, that's not going to work. You know,
Yeah, I'll take my bad nowadays. My bad. It won't happen again.
If it's going to be if it's a genuine apology, then that's different. That's completely acceptable. But if it's an apology with conditions or apology, but then they want to say some slick shit like right after that, nah, we not doing that here.
Yep. Yeah, I'd rather you not apologize because that's adding insult to injury.
Exactly.
Just be quiet. Don't say shit. And another thing, yeah, we definitely gonna have to do a show. The art of apologizing.
Yeah, most people
the
don't know.
The best apology is change behavior.
Right.
The best apology is change behavior. Let me tell you one thing I also had to learn. Let's put, for example, me and Gary are dating, and he does something that upsets me. How the hell? Okay, I'm upset, but I can't be upset with him if he doesn't know that what he did upset me. A lot of us would just keep it inside, and we'll save it for bullshit later when it's not, supposed to be happening. You have to express it and you have to address it. You can't let shit fester. I mean, sometimes it's good to, again, timing, but you can't let days and weeks and months go by and something that could have been a little smoke fire. Now it's a 3-alarm. See, I had a habit of doing that and I had to learn. And not only was it hurting the relationships that I was in, it was hurting me. Because I would hold shit in. I mean, that is a famous trait of Scorpios. We hold shit in, we hold shit in, we hold shit in, and then we bust like a volcano. But that's not healthy for the relationship or for me. So I have learned to address things as things go. Maybe not right away, because maybe I may be at the level 10 where it only really warrants a level 4. So I have to, like Diamond said, inhale and exhale. Count to 10. Did Gary really, did he? So he bought me the chocolate shake versus the strawberry shake, and he knows I don't like fucking strawberry shake. Well, damn, at least he bought me a shake. At least he thought about me enough to buy me a shake. See, we got to look at things like that. And I'll never forget when a homeboy said that shit to me. He was like, Grace, instead of seeing what that person is not doing and all the negative shit, how about you turn around and see what he is doing and the positive things? That right there changed my whole mindset. I try to look at okay, so Gary bought me a shake. It's not my favorite flavor, but the motherfucker didn't have to go nowhere and bring me nothing. At least he thought about me. And I'm going to finish it and I enjoy it. And he sees that I drank that whole shake. I'm like, baby, I really love that, the fact that you bought me a shake. But can you stick the chocolate for me? Because that's my favorite flavor. Do you see how easy that could have been resolved? I did make him feel like shit, because if that was any tip of, well, fuck it then. I ain't bringing you shit no more. Fuck you and the shake. But you see how it gets so much worse when I could just drink eat the cake, anime, okay? Yeah, drink the damn shake. Be humble, be grateful, rub your head a little bit and be like, Gary, thanks for the shake, baby, but you know what? I really do prefer chocolate. Just like because I got game. I would be rubbing his hand and I'd be like, I prefer chocolate shakes, just like you, baby. So he's gonna remember that conversation the next time he orders a shake. Oh man, she don't like strawberry. She like chocolate like me. I mean, come on, people. It's not fucking rocket scientist. Another thing that is important, Gary, hold on, let me finish this thought, is your approach and your delivery. That matters. Just like you say word matters, your delivery matters. I can be a very humble and submissive person, but when you coming at me, rah, 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 my inner instincts is to clap back with that same energy. But because I have exercised emotional intelligence, I'll let your ass go rah, 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 but I'm just not going to respond. I'm not going to, I'm going to chill. Go ahead, Gary.
There's, when it comes to couples and having their discussions, if you will, it's it's, you get sometimes the woman, she would, what's the word I'm looking for? She would have her attitude and not really care, right? And I think that that's really bad, because I think that with some of these women nowadays, they have these attitudes and think that the man has to just tolerate the attitude, right? And when you're supposed to communicate with each other, it's not supposed to be yelling or screaming. It's supposed to be, hey, let's try to talk this out or work this out or what have you. You get some of these women that's like, it kind of, it throws things off, because it's like, if a woman comes to me with an attitude, my natural instinct is going to respond in the same way, right?
Yeah.
So I like, that's like, I'm just wired like that, because one, if I come to you, and first of all, I'm not going to come to you in a aggressive manner, right? I'm going to come to you in a calm manner and talk to you. But if you're going to respond to me in an aggressive manner, then come on now. Like, you can't, then I respond back to you in the same way you talk to me, and then you want to be upset? Right? So
you get more bees with honey. You get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yeah, so then nothing gets resolved. So, and I say that to say is that when it comes to having the emotional intelligence, it's being able to, well, both people have to have it, really. And you're supposed to be, you're supposed to be each other's safe space, right? If you're in a relationship with someone, y'all supposed to be each other's safe space.
Exactly.
You go out there, you fight in the world, you come home or what have you, you have each other as your safe space. So to me, as a black man, well, I got to go fight the world, and then I come home, I got to fight with you too. Like, hey, that's not working.
Gary. Hold on, Gary. Say that again for the people in the back, all the way in the peanut gallery.
You're funny. You got jokes. I'm saying, as a black man, for me to go, I got to go out and fight the world, right? So then, from fighting the world, I got to come home and fight with you too. Like, come on, that's not.
And y'all get mad.
And y'all get mad.
Man goes to the Spanish, the Latino,
right? And exactly.
You see exactly. That?
But then also too, and I said this in one of the other shows, I'm working during the day, and you want to call me in the middle of the day on some bullshit? You understand? Like, that's not so. That doesn't work. Like that does not work.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I bring people on my panel, so y'all could hear it from the horse's mouth. I'm not lying, y'all. I'm not trying to be something that y'all say I'm not. I'm trying, at the end of the day, I love my sisters and I want to see them succeed, and I want y'all to be with y'all black men, because trust me, there's enough of them to go around. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, a black man's first choice will always be a black woman. Their mama was black. But because of things that is going on between the black woman and the black man, they're not choosing you. I'm not taking them from you, I promise. Y'all giving them to me. you know what I'm saying? Y'all giving them. I mean, I'm not going to... Y'all giving them to me. Fuck yeah. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I love my embracers and I want you to learn, but y'all fucking giving these fine ass chocolate men to us.
Look, we see on these podcasts on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, all these black women that they're voicing their opinions and how they, and it's like, you talk about toxicity, and here's the thing, and I got to tell you this. So, 3 different shows.
I love when he gets passionate.
Right? Because it just blows me away, and it just proves the shit that I say. 3 different shows. These 3 different women talked about how they found a great guy. 6 figures. Tall, dark, handsome. The whole shit. Nothing wrong. Nothing absolutely wrong. Like nothing. Right? So, and they were like, well, we had to break up because just something was missing, right? I didn't know what was missing, but something was missing, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And yeah, so and I know some people are gonna be, they're gonna have some things to say, but this is my life, and I'm gonna do it however I want to do it. But I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, so y'all complain about wanting a great guy. Here it is, 3 of y'all find a great guy, makes great money, the house, the cars, the whole shit, looks good, all of that, nothing wrong. But you feel that something's missing? I'm like, y'all bitches is toxic. That's what the fuck it is. Y'all missing the toxic behavior, right? Which is interesting because to some of these women, the toxicity of a relationship is excitement for them. Like, what kind of psychotic shit is that?
Because that's what they grew up in. They grew up in this chaotic, and they grew up in chaos, and that's all they know. That's all they know.
I just had to laugh. I'm like, wait a minute. So, the toxic behavior is excitement for them. So that's what so even if you find the perfect guy, something's missing. And it's the toxic behavior that's missing. So when it comes to when they say women like excitement, the toxicity is part of the excitement. Like, I don't know any responsible, respectable black man that wants to tolerate or deal with that shit. Okay, I'm done.
I mean, I hear you. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, who's ever watching right now, I need you to feel Gary's passion on this, because y'all ain't gonna respect it coming from me, and that's okay. I don't take it personally. As long as the message is getting out there, you're listening to it from a vile African American man who is successful, 6 figures, has been in the entertainment business for years, has seen women, all types of women, and y'all get mad if y'all see a Latina or Becky on his own. It's not like he hasn't tried. So embrace what he's saying, guys. And again, it takes emotional intelligence. When I see these young girls calling their man F ninjas and fuck this and your mama ain't shit and this, and then you expect him to blow your back out that night after you didn't just disrespected this man in public? Who does that?
But wait, look at what does that? But Grace, look at the type of female hip hop artists that's coming out, and listen to what they're saying in the records. So they want to trick on dudes, but who's the dude that they want to date, right? So the idea is to trick on these dudes who's, I guess, paying for whatever. So you want to go back and date the dude from the hood? You understand?
Yeah. There's no intelligence with that.
Yeah.
Because that's what they grew up seeing. That is what the environment that they were in. And I just remember something. I have it right here. There is I took a picture of it. It's about regulating your emotions. So
Mhm.
it's I might put it up on my community tab. It says here how to regulate your emotions. When I feel angry, I will pause until I'm able to think clearly so I can respond rationally instead of reacting.
Mhm.
That was from my dad. Not every no response is a response. When you're feeling overwhelmed, write down what I need to get done and focus on one task at a time based on importance. So, in other words, when you're feeling overwhelmed and ain't shit getting done because you're trying to do 10 things at one time, I'm going to use Diamond's words. Inhale, exhale, sit your ass down, smoke a blunt, whatever you got to do, and write your list down of things you got to do in the importance, in order of importance. When you're feeling insecure, I will work on appreciating and accepting myself, flaws and all. I am more than I give myself credit to. Boom. Diamond spoke something about that. Don't be so hard on yourself. It is what it is. When you're feeling rejected, I will acknowledge that this feeling sucks, but I will not let it consume me. Rejection is redirection. Rejection is God's protection. And that's another thing. We need to teach our kids rejection because these motherfuckers are wilding out because a girl said no to him. You want to go shoot up the school. Yeah. Or if a boy said no to you, now you want to cry and be suicidal. What the fuck is that about? I mean, I'm not trying to judge, but come on, man. And you see how I look at it, and I've been through a lot of rejections because I was a fat girl growing up, and I got a lot of heat. I was always a pretty girl, but I was fat, and that's okay. I knew I was fat, but at the same time, for every no, I would get 3 or 4 yeses. I never went without a boyfriend. I always was talking with somebody. I made it a point not to talk to nobody at the same high school I was in. It was always somebody on the outside. You know, nobody ever knew my business. They never believed I had a boyfriend in New York. You know what I'm saying? But when he came down for senior prom, they be like, okay. When you're feeling discouraged, I will be kind to myself and remind myself of the reason why I am trying. I will use that as my strength. And then the last one is anxious. Focus on the present moment and take deep breaths to regulate my nervous system. Guys, I'm gonna put this up so you guys can. I took, and I'm not even gonna lie to you. I took it from a gentleman that I just met as a content creator. Did my screen black out?
No, I can see you still.
Oh, I can't. Okay, it blacked out for me, but that's okay. And I happened to go through his profile and whatever. I'm like, oh shit, this is good. And we're talking about emotional intelligence. And I told him, hey, I'm using your shit. You know, come through. Because I give people props. So this came from King Thanos, and he's got a channel on YouTube. Go check him out. He talks about a lot of good stuff too. I was on a panel last night, met him last night, and look, I'm already using his information. No, I'm utilizing it to relay what I'm trying to get across to my embracers. If I see something good, hell yeah, I'm going to use it. Does it touch on exactly what we're trying to get across to tonight, Gary? You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, Gary, we did good tonight. We're on our mark. You know, let me change my little banner, because this is, guys, when we go into final thoughts. And anybody in the comment section, and I want to tell everybody, Diamond, thank you for your participation. Maybe next time you can come on the panel. You don't have to come on camera. I just have to see you in the back. Once I know that you're human and you are what you say you are, you can come up here off camera. Amin, thank you for coming in. I don't know if you realized it. You're one of my mods. I've been having you as a mod, but you just haven't came in here for a minute. So with Gary, that being said, let me hear your final thoughts. Let people know where they can find you. I can't wait till you come back on Fridays, because y'all be having Robin be taking them scenarios. To me, those scenarios be off the chain.
Yeah.
So what are your final thoughts on this emotional intelligence?
So emotional intelligence, I mean, my final thoughts is one, people have to understand their personality, right? And that goes back to the personalities that we did a couple weeks ago, right?
Mhm.
That's going to give you a good idea of where your emotional intelligence falls. Now, with that being said, there's some people who are more emotionally intelligent than others.
That's okay.
And that's fine, right? And that's fine. If you want to learn, and you can grow in your emotional intelligence, and I would advise people to do that. Now, I also understand that there's some people that's not wired to do that, right? And that,
We can't save everybody, Gary. Everybody's not going to be fit coming to the journey.
Right. And then, but I mean, if you want to have better, healthy relationships, whether it's personal or whether it's business, then I would definitely advise you to find out, to understand what your personality is, and then find out where your emotional intelligence lies and work on it from there. A little bit about me, I can turn mine off when I need it. I could turn it on and off when I need it, because there's some people who definitely gets my emotional intelligence. But then there's other people that don't deserve my emotional intelligence, right? And I'm just being real about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where you could find me. So again, I'm president of Boardwalk Global Media. With the CEO and owner is MC Sticky, Rock Logic. We have a podcast on Friday nights called The Real Discussion with Rock Logic, co-hosted by Gary D and Robin. It's Friday nights from 8 p.m. Eastern time to 10 p.m. Eastern time. We're on YouTube, Facebook Live, and a few other platforms. Currently, we're on hiatus till like the mid to end of June. But when we come back, it's gonna be on and popping. We're gonna have some great stuff happening. And also, we have a couple of other shows that will be coming back on Boardwalk Global Media. And Grace, Embrace the Grace, is part of the Boardwalk Global Media family.
Yep, I sure am, and I'm excited about that. And like I said, I'm flying to New York in a couple weeks. I gotta send you, I gotta email you something too. So okay. Yes, guys, please support my guy Gary D. He's been supporting me strong since the first of the year. Really, we've been consistently doing this show, and we do the Thursday nights, him and I. But you guys, it's not just him and I. You are welcome on the panel. There's some nights where we have a full panel, and there's some nights where it's just him and I, and that's okay too. That's okay. But as far as me, guys, on emotional intelligence, it's a working process every day, but you have to be willing and open-minded to become emotionally intelligent. You have to first realize that emotions need to be regulated. Not everything requires a response. Life is too short. Life is too short, people. Life is hard enough, and for us to be going through this and getting mad at each other and holding grudges, and it's just not worth it. And second of all, it's not godlike. I try not to bring God too much into our conversations, because oh my gosh, you're getting religious. But I'm very spiritual. I believe in energy, vibration, and frequency when I'm around people. And Gary was right. When you drain me, I tend to distance myself from you, because it's just not I've learned to respect and value my energy, where y'all should as well. There are tests out there that you can take, resources to start working on your emotional intelligence, look it up, do the research, and apply it every day, step by step. Do it with your kids, do it with your coworkers, do it with your friends, do it with your loved ones, and you will see how much smoother your life will go. And as far as where I can be found, Embrace the Grace, I am on TikTok, I am on Instagram, I am on Facebook, I am on Snapchat, I am on WhatsApp, I am on global media. I'm all over the place. I know I said I would be in New York in a couple of weeks, so we got one more show next Thursday here, and then I will be out there the following week, Father's Day weekend. So I will be out there. So Grace will be embracing New York. I can't wait to eat some pizza and Chinese food, Gary. I miss my New York food. So other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. Feel free to support the channel. There you see my Cash App hashtag for everybody that came here today and participated in the chat. Y'all were awesome. I didn't read all the chats out, but I did post them. I can't wait till I'm able to have super chats. I need 1,000 subscribers, but we slowly but surely, I will get there. I'm not rushing it. I'm not buying subscribers. I want to grow organically.
Exactly. That's what it's about, growing organically.
I want to be able to know that, hey, Gary, remember when we were on our 1-year anniversary, I only had 362 subscribers. Now look at us.
Mm-hmm.
So it will come. That's how much I believe in this channel. I believe in my embracers. That's how much Gary believes in me. How can I have somebody on my team that believes so much in me and I not believe myself that way? Where they do that at? So with that being said, guys, thank y'all for coming out. I love y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I will drop the replay tomorrow. Gary, I know I'll talk to you sometime this week. Diamond, thank you. Almond, thank you. Braxton, thank you. Thank you all for coming out. God bless. Have a good one, my dear. Bye.